Hi, my name is Fawn Young, and I'm a book author. I have one book out right now, video that I read for yesterday called Donkey Rodeo. Never mind my dog in the background. He's kind of a nuisance. But anyway, my second book that I worked on pretty much at the same time that I wrote Donkey Rodeo is The Legend of the Old Man. This one actually took me 17 years to complete. I had some things that came up, and so it just took me a while. Plus, I wasn't sure how to go about self-publishing back then. Once I figured that out, then I just went crazy and I wrote like 5 books in 2 months. So anyway, and like I said, now I'm working on a novel, a paranormal novel as well. So today what I want to do is read a chapter of this book. I have read a chapter of Donkey Rodeo, and some people have seen the video, and I appreciate that. If you do enjoy the video, please feel free to share it with others so that they can get a look at what's inside these books, because it doesn't really tell you much in Amazon. I mean, I give a brief description, but I find that if you read the first paragraph or the first chapter, excuse me, you can kind of get a better understanding of what a book's about, right? So that's what I'm going to do with all the rest of the children's chapter books that I have. These books are mainly for kids, I would say 7 and up, depending on their reading level. Or you can read it to them if they're, you know, struggling a little bit. Or have them read a chapter a night if the book seems kind of long. That's another thing. I used to have a great big book. It had like tons of stories in it. So we would just pick out a short story and read it like that. So anyway, so this is called The Legend of the Old Man. And basically what it's about is it's about Santa and how he became Santa. So with this story, it tells about the struggles of this man before he discovered a miracle. He was blessed with a miracle of becoming Santa. So I'm going to read today one chapter out of this book so you can get a better understanding. Nice little Christmas present idea, just in case you thought of that. A friend of mine actually did the illustration, so shout out to Shelby Switzer. She's amazing, and I love her to death. She's a dear friend of mine. We used to work together. So anyway, here we go. I gotta get to the first page. The first chapter is called The Tragedy. In a small village in Michigan, way back when there wasn't electricity or telephones, lived a man named Christopher Kringle and his wife Emily. They had been praying for years to start a family. They were getting up there in age and were almost to the point of being too old for children. But then it happened. Emily and Chris were expecting their first baby. It was just about Christmas. Chris had been working hard building his wife's gift. Chris was a master craftsman and could build just about anything out of wood. He had been building a sleigh for him, his wife, and their new baby to ride in throughout the village. In the winter, Michigan turns into a winter wonderland. It's quite a sight when riding in a sleigh. Chris and Emily owned one horse named Majesty, who pulled the sleigh for them. So Chris worked day and night, obsessed with getting getting her present finished in time for Christmas. In the early morning hours of Christmas Eve, the snow was falling heavily. It was a blizzard outside with blustery winds. The temperature was falling fast. The storm was paralyzing the village as tree limbs fell on the roadways, making it difficult for people to travel. In an instant, Chris was awakened by a terrible scream. His wife Emily was shaking in horrible pain, screaming, "Chris, something's wrong. Please help me." Chris sprang out of bed, kissed his wife, told her he'd be right back with help, and went to get the town's doctor. The doctor didn't live that far away, only 30 minutes from their home. However, it would take more time due to the storm and obstacles. He jumped on Majesty and rode off. Chris spent several minutes banging on the door to the doctor's house. The storm's winds were so loud that it was difficult for his knocking to be heard. Finally, the doctor did hear, and he came to answer the door. "Chris, what's wrong? Something with Emily?" the doctor asked, as the doctor had been taking care of Emily while she was pregnant and understood her delicate condition. The doctor could see the fear in Chris's eyes. "Yes, Doc, Emily is in horrible pain and needs your help right away," Chris explained to the doctor. The doctor invited him in while he went to fetch his medical bag, coat, and other essentials needed for his visit. Chris stood anxiously at the door, pacing back and forth. He knew time was critical, and with the storm, it may even be harder to get back. While he stood there, waiting for the doctor, his mind raced on thoughts about Emily. Chris never imagined that a pregnancy could be dangerous. Could he possibly lose his beloved wife from complications? He shook his head to remove the notion. The doctor walked up beside Chris. "I'm ready. Let's go," exclaimed the doctor as he grabbed the handle to the door, opened it, and allowed Chris to exit first. The doctor followed. "I'll grab my horse and be right behind you, Chris." The two of them rode off into the darkness carefully and cautiously. It took them over an hour to get back to Emily due to the storm, the winds, and debris in the road. When they arrived, they knew they were too late. As Chris and the doctor approached the bedroom, they saw Emily lying on the bed. While they were heading back to the house, Emily had passed away. Chris sat in the chair motionless, not able to speak, and then he went numb. The brightness dimmed out of Chris's eyes that night. Darkness took over, and he grew into a cold and lifeless man. A funeral was held in honor of Emily and her baby girl. The whole town came to pay their respects. The reception was fancied up with flowers and food made up for Chris to take home. Chris didn't speak to anyone, just nodded in appreciation for their efforts to comfort him. The efforts were left in vain, though, as Chris continued to spiral down into a deep depression. He could see only darkness and knew he would have to do something to rid himself of his pain, so he decided to move away. Very, very sad beginning, right? It sounds so sad, but I promise you it gets so much better. And by the end, you'll be crying because you're happy for Kris Kringle. So I highly recommend the book, obviously, because I wrote it. But I hope you enjoy the book. If you do buy it, please leave a review. I'm going to have actually my email address and the link from Amazon where you can purchase the book in the description box below. For some reason, I mentioned about comments that you could leave, and I don't know, for some reason it says on there that you can't leave comments, and I tried to figure out how to change that, and I tried to change the settings, and it didn't work. So I don't understand. But if anybody knows how to do that, please email me and let me know, because I'm having a real difficult time trying to figure that out. But for right now, I will leave my email address and my Facebook and all that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you soon with another book. So thank you again. Have a great day. Bye.